Alright, gonna be bringing you a slightly unconventional format here for video. Well, conventional in that it's my lazy, um, one take, no edits style, but unconventional in that it's not of the game. Because I'm so lazy, I'm gonna do it this way. So I'm gonna be bringing you a enemies guide. A couple people have asked for this. Um, I hope this information is going to be good for you. We'll see. I think if I was cool and if I was worthy of like subs and likes, I would be recording snippets and then adding them together. But instead, what I'm going to do, because it's a one-stop shop for like an enemies list and it's got graphics, I just kind of think that the Deep Rock Galactic fandom website is perfect, and I'm going to put links in the description for you. Um, yeah, man, I am taking a risk too. I'm showing you my desktop and everything. So, here we go. So, yeah, people want an enemies guide, so like the creatures. I am terrible with names, just in general. I mean, this isn't the only game that I play, so trying to remember like Glyphid swarmers and spitball infectors and like all these kind of, I, you know, I mean, it's arbitrary fictional names. It's hard for me. I don't love the game any less. It's just, I'm a dummy and there's only so much room in this tiny noggin. So, here we go. Let's just see. I'm just going to let this kind of guide the pace here. Elite enemies, really, these are just like super stronger variants of regular monsters. The higher the difficulty, the stronger that they're going to be. Um, and I'm probably going to be giving you a perspective that's a little bit more scout than anything. I'll try to like hop around as best as I can. Um, but yeah, generally speaking, the elite enemies aren't like crazy strong. I guess on has 5, they're pretty bad or like good and strong. Um, and on 4s, eh. I also play engineer a lot as well, and because the engineer's burst is so good, I typically don't really fear the elites as much. But yeah, definitely on the higher difficulties, like a 5, really. You're gonna need a group to take these out, but they're just stronger versions of all the other monsters. Alright, so they start with the Glyphid spawn and the swarmers. I mean, these guys are, there's no weak points. You can just shoot them anywhere, and this says 5 health and 12 health. I feel like though, like the harder difficulties, like I don't know if it says it up here. Again, I'm gonna put this link in there, in the description. See, like when it says that they have 5 health or 12 health, is that based on a 3 or like what is that based on? I don't know if that's like I don't think that's at like a has 5. I don't know. I'm always kind of thinking about things from like the Scouts GK2, and I'm pretty confident that like one hit, one kill. I think I said in another video that like you wanted a minimum of 15 damage for that gun. Um, and I don't know where 15 come. Maybe at a has 5, this guy's 15 health, and that's why that's always just been the rule that you need. I just can't remember off the top of my head right now if it's a one hit on a hazard 5, but yeah, these guys are just they're weak. However, they usually come in groups, so they're a big deal when they sneak up behind you, and in numbers. They can be particularly bad. Um, you could definitely do like the pickaxe if you get the timing right. It's like right as they're like about to like jump on you. You can kill them that way. Um, I think like the like super pick attack, you can get like that range increase, and that can definitely help you kill groups of these. On hazard 5, and I guess even 4, using thorns to kill them, or like basically just letting them hit you to kill themselves, is a little bit less of an option, especially when there's like a huge group. I mean, if it's just like a couple, you can probably just get away with letting them, kill themselves via your thorns. But no, I know from like for scout players, there's a lot of like kill priorities, and if you're trying to kind of boost your numbers a little and maybe let the big dogs take care of the more meatier things. Sometimes I'll kind of prioritize this, assuming that there isn't something nastier that I can be looking at. I think these spawn from those like large blobby looking things, and I think these just come out of those walls. Um, you'll see like those like collection of holes and like that kind of purpley color. And if you go up to them, like they will absolutely come out. So you can just not do that and avoid them altogether. I can't really talk a lot about like resistances, and I don't know if there's going to be like specific, like this says the grunts, right? I mean, this is kind of like the meat and potatoes of the creature game. Um, I know from like the scouts GK2 perspective, like it's like one or two shots to the face. It's what it feels like. Feels like two shots to the face. Maybe it's three. Um, I mean that gun just shoots so fast though. But like you definitely know when you're shooting something in the face versus like they say mouth versus somewhere else. Um, and if you go on other guides or at least other things that I've watched or read, they'll talk about how there's like little to no aim required in this game. Okay, well, required is kind of a strong word, but there's definitely a noticeable difference when you're actively trying to hit them in the face. I mean, sure, you can just go for body shots, and I think there are mods, something about like like armor shredding or something like this that can help out. Just going for the body instead. But I think it's kind of fun, and it's going to conserve a lot of ammo, and it's really going to help you on the higher difficulties if you're going for their face. I mean, they say mouth, because his face is basically just a mouth. But yeah, you want to go for the mouth. And I know for like some of the other guys, you really want to go for their butt. But yeah, mouth. See, like I didn't even know this. So they take more damage from fire? Okay. And like they're resistant to frost. See, I've used the cryo cannon a lot, and I really supported the heck out of that thing on my driller guide. I wouldn't want anyone to read this and not be like not trying to use the cryo cannon. Like the cryo cannon just crushes grunts. It absolutely destroys them. So oh, you know what? Because that's on the glacial one. Nah, you know what? No, I don't. No, I mean you're not gonna like not use the gun though. So, I mean I guess it's nice to know. Maybe if maybe if there's only like a couple, maybe it'd be better to just pickaxe them or like switch to your secondary. But like I really doubt. Like I quickly looked at this list and I was looking at all these and I was just like, yeah, I'm not really sure this is gonna change how I do things, but maybe it will for you. Maybe this is beneficial. Maybe you'll mod your guns differently based on knowing this. Um, for me, I'm just gonna. I don't know. Maybe I'm an old man. I'm gonna stick to my strat. That's too much rambling. So grunts are easy. There's just so many of them. Try to shoot them in the mouth. I kind of feel like with grunts, and this is like a failing of mine. When I'm playing gunner, I don't think I prioritize killing these things enough. Like I kind of feel like the gunner was made to kill basically these three. Um, he's the swarm guy, and it's just me personally, and like because I play it wrong, I'm always going for like the nastier stuff. Like I always want to kill these guys, and I want to kill these, and I want to kill like I just always want to kill the bigger targets, which I think is probably more appropriate for engineer because of his burst, and is probably more appropriate for scout because of his single target. But if you're gunner, um, I think you want to be trying to focus more on these, right? And then you let the engineer and you let the scout take care of that. And like driller, I've always personally thought of as more of a CC guy, but there's just nothing that he doesn't do. He does the damage, the CC, everything. Um, but yeah, this is just your standard. To me, this is like the skeleton or like the zombie in like MMOs. Like that like that starting monster. That's yeah. Um, this is basically just a better version of him. I'm pretty sure these two, if you do a pickaxe attack, it's like guaranteed to kill them. You don't have to hit them in the face. It could just be anywhere. I can't say it's guaranteed though. If you do a pickaxe attack on these guys, I think if their arms, what they do is they kind of like close their arms. It's like like a shield more or less. And I think if they're open, they expose their mouth, and you do the pickaxe attack. I'm pretty sure that's gonna cut them down. But I think if they're closed up on like 4s and 5s, I don't know if you can one shot these. I feel like you can't. And And I feel like this is the one that you want to tame if you have that, is it called Beastmaster? Oh, whatever the active perk is that tames critters. I think this is the guy you want. I'm actually going to switch over real quick. I looked that up, and I'll put this link in the description as well, but he talks about the things that you can tame with that perk. When I read this, I didn't even know that was possible, and I don't know if I've ever actually seen this, or if I have, I didn't know. But yeah, apparently you can do that, so that's cool. I mean, this is only from an event, but yeah, this is the one that I feel like everyone does. They're looking out, specifically for this guy. Sometimes people do the slashers, but it's typically the grunt guards. Um, so yeah, I mean, if you're really trying to get like your bang for your buck or whatever, killing these things, you want to wait till he actually exposes his mouth. And there's a lot of situations where you're getting swarmed or whatever, and you can't wait, so you end up just having to do like body shots or whatever. I couldn't tell you if like his front is more guarded than his back. I feel like it is, but maybe you look at all these numbers and you say clearly it's not. But I always just try to get behind these guys when they're doing the shield, or I try to get like a little bit melee and then back up, hoping that they drop the quote shield to then shoot them in the face. If you're playing something like Driller and you're using flamethrower and or the cryo cannon, it doesn't matter, right? I mean, that's just like a spray weapon. But yeah, really interesting stuff here. I've never really been a fan of the incendiary grenade on Gunner, and maybe this is a reason why, right? Because this is basically saying that he's got resistance to fire. Like, why is it 25 here and then 30 there? I don't really. Where does that go to? Yeah, I mean that's really all I can say. Like these are the stronger ones. All right, so moving on to the Praetorian. Praetorian's kind of like the I don't know what you call him. I guess he's like the first like little big boss, or like the first like kind of heavier target. Some cool things I like to do with these. If I'm playing scout, I very often will throw a cryo grenade. I think that's what they're called. Yeah, the cryo grenades. So it freezes them, and the GK2 is just kind of like my weapon of choice when I'm playing scout. And I use a mod that like really increases the rate of fire, like pretty heavily. So I can throw a grenade and just guarantee that I'm gonna annihilate this thing. Alternatively, you can use the shotgun or something else. But if you use the shotgun though on a scout and you get that one mod that actually adds fire damage, you can't one-shot this Praetorian by doing the cryo shotgun. I don't think, and that's me using I don't know the name of the mod off the top of my head, but it's the one that adds like a good amount of damage. But there's two of them though that I think maybe do good damage. Anyways, if you use that fire mod, it will get him out of the frost, and then but he'll be very weak, right? He'll be very weak when you go to kill him. So it's not really a big deal to either pickaxe him for the final hit, and or switch to your other gun, or someone else can help you finish him off, obviously. But because you bring him out of that frost, he will leave like that green acid. So I just want to let you know, like any kind of fire damage is gonna like rip him out of that. Some other classes, what they can do is, Driller can absolutely freeze him, and I think it's 2 axes, or maybe it's just 1, if it's well placed. Honestly, I don't even think it matters when they're frozen, but I think it's like 2 axe, the axes that you throw. So you can do it real quick, just womp womp. So that's a nice little combo. Engineer, I think it's like, at least with the breach cutter setup I have, it's like 2 to the face or 2 to the butt. That'll get him. And like this guy, it's not really shown here, but his rear end is kind of like this bright, glowing oval. And what you want to do is you want to circle behind him if you don't have like a weapon that shoots through, and hit him in the back. It's not saying like if he takes more damage in the mouth, but I feel like he might. like there's just some situations where you just can't get behind it. You know, you're at distance, or I don't know, there's just too much stuff behind him. Whatever the case may be, if you absolutely had to shoot at him, or at least when I absolutely have to shoot at him from the front, I try to go for his mouth. Um, I mean, maybe it's in my head that it's I feel like it does more. But it's not really a bad idea though to always just be honing your aim. So now, how do you get to his back? Like sometimes it can be a little hard. It's kind of like bullfighting a little bit. Oh, it's a terrible comparison, but what he'll do if you get like right in front of him is he'll basically plant his feet and then he'll shoot acid at you. So what I actually try to do is I try to bait him into doing that, and I can see him, start to set up his legs that he's gonna plant down and do this, and that's when I swing around behind him. It can be hard because I think he can still like bite you or claw you instead of doing the acid thing right away. So you gotta go like like WS 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 on the keyboard if you're doing that. Um, you just gotta figure out a way to kind of bait that acid spray, and then that's when you circle around behind him and light him up. All right, so I think that's really all I can say about that. Glyphid wardens. I feel like that this is a kind of common theme in some other games where there's like a leadery kind of bug that buffs other bugs. And I think I have a video where I thought this only buffed grunts, but I'm pretty sure it will also buff Praetorians. There's going to be a guy, friend of mine, super cool dude, his name's JFK. He is going to, man, I'm going to give him so much homework on this video. He is going to have to correct 99% of what I'm saying. So I'm sure he's going to swoop in and he's going to give you the good information. So please scroll down, look at the comments, and see what the updates are, what the corrections are here. But yeah, this guy buffs basically anything that's around him. So you'll know that it's happening. You'll know that you see him because he gets these very large, very bright, pinkish purple. I don't know if you want to call them beams, but they almost make like these kind of arcs. It's kind of like rainbow connection. So he has these lines, these beams, all connected to the enemies that he's closest to. And what exactly, how exactly do they get buffed? Like, what are the numbers and percentages? I don't know, man. Like, do they do more damage? Can they take more? Yeah, like all that. Like, it's bad. Like, they help. He helps other monsters. He makes them stronger. So you want to take this guy out first, right? Because you're just going to be spending a lot of bullets. And I know there's situations where, like, he's, like, behind something or whatever, and the grunts or whatever he's buffing are getting the benefit. So sometimes you can't always, like, get to him right away, but when possible, you should absolutely prioritize killing him. The same technique that I mentioned for the Praetorian, that's getting annoying. Again, a lot of this is like from a scout perspective. I like throwing the cryo grenade at this guy, and then it usually hits the whole group too. So it really just kind of sits them all down. But I'll throw the grenade, and I'll go for the warden. Like even if the warden had like 3 Praetorians with him, I'm still gonna go for the warden first. You just want to knock that guy out. Yeah, I don't really think there's anything else left to say about these guys. You just this is a priority. Yeah, you see them buffing a group, you gotta go for them. Pinkish purple stuff, you'll see them. And it might even make like a sound. I swear, I think it makes like a zzzz, or like this kind of sound, so like you can hear it coming up behind you. Alright, Glyphid Oppressors. If you're playing Engineer and you have the Breach Cutter, this is a joke. This is really no stronger than a Grunt. Well, okay, it's obviously stronger than a Grunt. And I have a Has 5 video where I'm playing as Engineer, and I think because I was a little sloppy, I think it did take like 5 or 6 shots. I feel like that's less though if you're like, you're making like a nice clean connection with them. But yeah, the Breach Cutter on the Engineer absolutely shreds this guy. Shreds him. If you're playing Scout and you're trying to do that cryo grenade trick, I think a long time ago you could do 1 grenade and that would freeze him. Not anymore, and it hasn't been like that for a while. It takes 2, and even when you throw 2, because I think you get 4 max. Even when you throw 2, it doesn't last very long. So not only is it harder to freeze, he's kind of I'm pretty sure he's resistant to it. Um, yeah, I don't know how that's being displayed here or if at all, but yeah. So just be careful of that. I think if you are kind of abusing that technique, maybe not abusing, using, um, maybe conserve your cryo grenades. Maybe not do it. I think what's actually easier as scout is just to grapple behind him. Um, the AI is actually not very sophisticated for this guy, so he's kind of easy to circle behind. It's when you're trying to like Rambo him, you're trying to go toe to toe in his face that he will rip you up. Um, on Has 5, he is particularly disgusting. He does like this. Man, it's hard for me to describe, but basically he like levels the ground in front of him in like this straight line. I don't know if you guys ever played WildStar, but they did like telegraphs in that game, and his telegraph would be like this long rectangle, and he uplifts the ground. Um, it's got to be like at least twice his body length in front of him that he can do this thing, if not longer. Um, and it will if you're in front of him when he starts doing it. So he basically just like slams his kind of big lobster looking arms there on the ground, and if you get hit by that, it's gonna mess you up. It's gonna do a lot of damage, and what's worse is that sometimes when you get hit by this thing, it will send you really high up, like silly high up, like Skyrim getting hit by a giant for the first time high. You know what I'm saying? Like, whoo! Another reason why to get hover boots, baby. Yeah, that's right. Hover boots can save you from that. How about that, Iron Will? The idea is the same here, though, as it is for, like, the Praetorians and most of the other, like, big nasties. Circle behind him. He's got this big green butt. Shoot him in the butt. Yeah, he still takes a little longer than the Praetorian. Well, a good chunk longer to kill than the Praetorian, but you'll notice that you're ripping right through it. So try to circle behind. Again, like the scout can grapple. You can do some grapple tricks. You can try to bait that thing that he does, kind of like the acid spray of the Praetorian. You try to get him to do it, and then that's when you just run around behind him and light him up. Um, I really think the engineer is like the king of crushing these things. The driller is just, if you're using that cryo cannon, he's just disgustingly good. You can freeze him, no problem. Circle behind him, if that's even necessary, and throw axes at his back. Or just keep holding down the trigger and just watch him just get deleted. For Gunner, I struggle on Gunner, honestly. Like, I never, like, play it 100% correctly. Like, I really think the Gunner is probably more geared towards killing the kind of medium to, like, the gruntier stuff. Like, these three. And I think he's probably supposed to be... I don't know. Yeah, I think you should always just be helping to kill this thing, the Warden. But I think he's really supposed to be kind of ignoring these kind of guys. And it's just instinctual for me that I want to take these out. Like, when I see a big group, like, and I see an oppressor, in my head I'm just like, I gotta kill that oppressor. Like, he's gotta go. Another, like, cool thing that you could be doing, probably don't necessarily need to do it for grunts, but the default key, at least for PC, is control. Like, you get that little gun that kind of, like, marks things, a little laser. Mark these out. Mark them out. Especially when they're on the ceiling. If you see it, just go ahead and just mark it out. It gives the monster like a nice red silhouette, so other players can see it like very easily. And yeah, if you see a Glyphid, and I think it also does like a sound cue. It'll say like something very dwarfy, but it'll basically point out that there's an oppressor. Yeah, you definitely want to do that. I know I'm really guilty of getting some tunnel vision, and I think it happens to a lot of us. So hearing that and or getting that red outline can really help out teammates. It can also alert people. Like, sometimes somebody else will mark this out, maybe like an oppressor, and I'm playing as engineer, and maybe they'll mark it out, and it's kind of like off in the distance. Assuming that like whatever we're fighting at the moment is not particularly bad, I will actually split off and just preemptively kill this thing. I don't need the group to engage it when I'm playing on an engineer. It's just they're so easy to kill with the breach cutter. Um, that thing that he does, that cone or that rectangular. I don't need that hitting my teammates, so I'll break away, and I'll do it on scout too. But a lot of that depends though. It's so hard to tell you exactly what to do because the makeup of the team you're playing with, like, really, really affects how to do this. Like, if I was playing with a driller, like my buddy Artie likes to play with driller, and he likes the cryo cannon. Yeah, I'm just gonna wait for my man to freeze it, and then we're just gonna take it out like no problem. So blah blah blah. Yeah, I know some of you don't like the rambling. I apologize. And I got some people who don't mind it. Some people like vanilla, some people like mint chocolate, chip ice cream. It's all everyone has got a different flavor. So it's my style. I'm sticking with it. Next. All right. So these three. You got the Dreadnought. I guess it's just Dreadnought. Glyphid. Yeah, it's like what's its special name? It's just Dreadnought. And then you got the Hive Guard, and then you got the Twins. In the older version of the game, it's newer that these two were released. The Hive Guard and the Twins are definitely newer. I guess at this point they've been out for probably like a year. But originally, this was the only Dreadnought. That is the only one. And the way he works is he's got like that break bar. I think that's what it's called. He's got the yellow bar. It's kind of like a shield. That's really how I think of it. It's his shield that you got to break, and then you can start chipping away into his health. And like the Oppressor and like the Praetorian, he's got a butt that's weak, and you want to hit him in the back. Like this says, back ×2, health phase only. And this is where JFK is going to jump in and correct me here. So I believe you can just hit him anywhere, but if possible, even if it takes me a second longer, I try to get behind him. I'm just always trying to get behind him. So even when he's in like the yellow break bar phase, I'm trying to get behind him. I typically don't play driller very much, and as hard as that class is, or as hard as people say it is, aiming his weapon is the easiest to shoot in the game. His primary, either the cryo cannon or the flamethrower. I mean, it can literally shoot through monsters. So the getting behind him thing isn't really as critical or required for him, but I'm typically playing scout, so I like getting behind him. And then when you do break his bar, I mean, you want to be shooting him in the butt when his health is exposed. So if you can just get there ahead of time, this is going to be more beneficial for you anyways. One thing to note too about at least with these two, if you're the guy or individual, that he is interested in, he's focusing on you. It's it's just panic reflex, and I still do it. You're just like, he's on you, and you start running in like obscure directions. You wanna be mindful of where you're potentially pulling him. Like, are you panicking and are you running like right into the gunner who is destroying his rear end, and now you've basically turned him around so that he's showing someone who is getting his weak point shot up is now what I'm trying to say. If you have his attention, what you want to try to do is keep his butt to the group. You ain't gonna be able to get around him and have your teammates be behind him either. He's got to be looking at somebody. So if you're the somebody that he's looking at, just keep that in mind. Like, sometimes, I really like playing scout because the grapple is just such absurd, awesome mobility. I will just get the hook out, and I'm kind of, I try to juke him, I try to move around, trying to be really mindful of like how much further can I backpedal. Obviously, if I go up against the wall, this is going to be a situation. So I try to think of like, I see my teammates over here. If I just pull them off to the side, they'll still have access to his backside. So you just want to be mindful of that. And I know it can be hard. Not everyone is running dash. Not everyone has something as nifty as the grapple. So you're kind of you kind of at his mercy. You kind of just like running and feeling it out. You gotta like quickly like jump and spin backwards to take a look at him. Another thing too with this, especially with new players, they typically want to get like melee with him. I'm not saying that you can't. There's definitely opportunities where you can, like when he's not looking at you, right? But he does like this ground pound. That's what I'm gonna call it, and that has a sound that I cannot imitate. But when you start playing this enough, just you know, crank up that sound a little bit, especially like when you're new, right? And you're trying to learn like what he does. He kind of plants himself for like a half second, and then he raises his two like big front claw things there, and he does this massive AOE ground pound. Um, you just want to kind of assume that he's always going to do it. Like, if you're right next to him and he does it, I don't. I think you're done. I think you're going to get hit by it. So you need to be like running out of it before he does it. So you need to basically predict. And again, the AI is not like super smart in this game, so they very much follow a script or like a pattern. Um, yeah, it's not like it's not PvP, right? So if you do get close to him, you just want to assume that he's about to do it. So you want to get out of there. JFK pointed out in another video that if you're a driller, you can actually freeze these. Yeah, and he's right. Yeah, you absolutely can. Uh, that is absurdly broken for driller to be able to freeze what is arguably the hardest monster in the game, or one of the hardest monsters in the game. Uh, but you know what? I was playing with my buddy Artie, and we were doing like one of these kind of dreadnought missions, elimination, and yeah, he was freezing him, and he said at the end of the fight, he's like, I actually think that's cool because, we played World of Warcraft together for years, and some other games that were kind of MMO-ish, and a lot of the times like your CC and all these kind of utility like hams like you want to slow something or freeze something or whatever, it would never work on bosses. Like that thing that stuns, nope, just wouldn't work. And it is kind of cool that it does. Um, but it's I still think that the freezing is still like a little strong, because he frozen for like a good amount of time, and like the damage that they take when they're frozen, and the fact that they just don't hit you anymore, man. Man, the cryo cannon for the driller is just it's so good. It's so good. All right, so I talked about the break bar. You get rid of the break bar. He exposes his butt, or well, doesn't expose his butt. His butt's always out, but then his health bar, you can take that down, and it kind of happens like in phases, I guess, if you want to call it that. So he'll let you do like a, I think it's like a percentage of damage. I think if you guys are like all aces, everyone's aiming is perfect, and you're in this perfect environment, you can't like, I'm pretty sure you can't just blow them up like immediately. I'm pretty sure you have to go through this like little phase thing at least once or twice. But what will happen is you get the yellow bar down, you start chipping away at his health, and then he will become immune to damage. And he's immune when all of his bars or one of his bars is gray. So if you see any gray in any of his bars, stop shooting at him. Don't shoot him anymore. Um, it's not gray for very long, but sometimes it's long enough, depending on your distance from him. You can resupply, maybe you can get your reload on. You can obviously reposition. Um, I've done this a lot of times where he does the ground pound and he kills like two teammates or however way he kills some teammates, and I'm playing scout and I start luring him away from their bodies, and I might end up having to do the break bar and or health phase alone, and then when he goes gray, I then grapple away from him and I go res my team. That's just how I do it. Um, what else can I say about this guy? I think that more or less covers it. That's a lot of rambling. Okay, so then the next one. This is one of the newer ones. Um, he's kind of the same. He's got a little extra stuff going on. So what he'll do is he spawns these. I think they're called sentinels. To me, they're like dreadnought juniors, little dreadnoughts, if you will. I don't know if that's actually here. That would be great if they actually showed the sentinel. But I don't think I'm seeing it. Some people are probably like, dude, it's right there. It's right in front of you. You can't see it? Well, I'm not seeing it. So you're just going to have to play along with me here. Um, yeah, he spawns these sentinels, and they're not particularly fearsome or bad. They're I don't know. Maybe they're on the Praetorian level in terms of health. They're a little meaty, and I think when they die, they leave a kind of like this orangey goo on the ground that'll slow you. So when you kill them, just don't be like right next to them when you kill them, if possible. And I think he spawns like 5. I don't think minus, maybe plus. I'll just say plus or minus 5, about 5. And when you kill all 5, that's when he goes into the next phase, and he's got. I call them weak points. I don't know, breakable points, whatever you want to call them. But he gets like these 4 nodes. Haha, there's another word. And they're more or less 2 are on his sides, and then 2 are kind of like not, directly on top of his body, but kind of northwest and northeastish, and the other ones I guess are like east and west. If you get really crafty with like the breach cutter and or like some other weapons, you can actually hit like all like 2 or all of them at once. But and you see like his legs here. It can make it really difficult to get to those things because they'll be like right here-ish. So you really the positioning can be a little troublesome. Again, not for Driller though. That guy can just spray in his general direction and he's gonna hit it. No problem for him. And you can absolutely use like grenades and stuff like that. I don't think they're very effective. But whatever kind of AOE you want to use, go for it. But once you kill those 4 points, and they're not very strong. Really, the difficulty is just him exposing them, right? And that's it. They're very weak. So once you knock out all 4 points, then then it's his health bar that you need to take down. And like all these other big nasties, you just want to get behind him. Yeah, you want to get behind him. Oh, you know what? I don't think I mentioned for the warden, right? Right here, the orb. You want to hit that orb, if possible. Yeah, you definitely want to do that. Otherwise, the mouth is always good. But like, you don't want to hit him on the legs or anything else. Orb. All right, so back to this. So yeah, you knocked out those 4 things. Now his health is exposed. He's got that big juicy butt that you want to shoot up. So you gotta circle behind him. His I don't think he does any kind of like devastating melee thing. Like I feel like the regular Dreadnought, man, that ground pound is lethal, and I feel more comfortable at least getting close with this guy. I think this dude does that that thing where he makes like those kind of, I don't know if you call them diamonds or lava balls or whatever terminology it is, but he kind of makes these things, and he'll push them out, and if you get hit by them, they can hurt. He might do some other stuff. I don't know. I just feel like all his stuff is very avoidable. He's really not that difficult. To me, the hard part about this one is just how long this takes. Because even after you kill the sentinels, you kill all 4 of the things on his body there, and then you circle behind him and start shooting up his butt, he will go gray, and then you got to do it like another 2 or 3 times, and he's, like they say that his health here is the same, but I don't know, he just feels meatier to me. Like he really does. I mean, maybe because his back doesn't take as much. Maybe that's it. But this fight is just long, so you do not just want to be like spraying your like if you're using a weapon that requires that you get behind him, you really got to adhere to doing that, because you will run out of ammo, guaranteed. I've run out of ammo lots of times fighting this guy, so you got to be mindful of that. You got to be careful of that. But because of these gray phases, again, like this is going to give you opportunities for resing and resupplying and all that stuff. So yeah, that's all I can really say. Is just be as precise as you can with your ammo, because this one's a long one. And I don't know, might be worth mentioning. Maybe they've fixed this, but there had been a number of times where this guy like bugs out. The bug bugs, and he won't spawn his sentinels. And I can basically just go up to him and high five him, and he won't do his melee stuff. So we're just kind of looking at one another like, uh-oh. Yeah, so if he won't spawn his sentinels, like he won't progress, you don't need to wait 10 minutes. You can I'm giving you the thumbs up that game is over. It got messed up. And that's a shame, especially when it's like the second one that you've opened, and it's the second one that you've opened on a Has 5. Oh, that's mean. That's real mean. But yeah, that can absolutely happen. Again, look in the comments below. JFK is going to have something that I missed or didn't say right. So, just keep look in the comments. And also, I will absolutely have the links in the description. So if this is just too much rambling, you can just look at this on your own. All right, the next one, the twins. These are also new. Came out at the same time as the Hive Guard. In this picture, they almost barely look different. That's so weird. One of them is like way more red, like red, and one of them is yellow, very yellow. So maybe they changed their colors or something, but I feel like when I've seen them, they are very red and very yellow. The yellow one is like the ranged one. I think I've tried describing his attacks before, and it just comes out as gibberish. But basically, he's the more ranged, oriented twin, and I think kind of like this guy, he shoots like these I don't know, these lava things, and it kind of like it starts off almost like in a circle, and then they kind of like angle out. And or he shoots these fire. Oh, you know what? This guy also shoots a fireball too. So you always just want to be looking out for that fireball. If you have dash, that's very avoidable with dash. But you want to keep your eye out. You can even kind of use like pillars, should they exist, to hide behind. And I think he more or less targets people at random. So yeah, be on the lookout for the fireballs. He might do this too. And they shoot like, yeah, I think he does. And I think they shoot. I feel like maybe this one shoots more than this guy does. Like this guy might shoot 1 or 2, and this guy might shoot like 2 or 3. But the ranged twin will shoot out like this. I don't know if I want to call it a barrage, but he shoots out like a lot of them, like in a line almost. You can actually, as a strategy, run it towards him. It's always kind of like the instinct to run away. But now there's situations with the yellow one where you can run towards him and avoid getting hit. So yeah, don't be afraid. The red one is kind of the more melee-ish one. Not that both of them won't go like toe to toe with you, but that's the red one is definitely he wants to melee you. And he has man, if you guys never played WildStar, it's a shame because that was such an awesome game. But like the telegraphs in that game, I can really relate to them in this. He basically telegraphs his moves. He kind of does like kind of like the Oppressor, but narrower and maybe not as far-reaching. But he shoots these kind of, if you were just like looking at like the quote hitboxes or whatever, it would just be rectangles that would be coming at you. And I think he does 3 of them in a fairly wide arc. So if he starts with like his all the way left one, and you're even more left of that, it will miss you, and then he will then go to his middle and then right. So 1, 2, 3, left, middle, right, or right, middle, left. It stinks when he starts on the one side and you think, oh, I'm gonna shimmy to the left, and then you get hit by the middle one. And then maybe you get hit by the other one because you just keep running. So he can definitely melt you. I think he also does like a flamethrower-y kind of blast or whatever. again, he more or less like plants himself when he does this. So if you just like juke him a little bit and get him to start going, you can avoid that. You know, him doing that. What's difficult is when actually when you're playing with less players, in my opinion, because there's more focus on you or just your other teammate. The difficulty is when you're avoiding that, and then the yellow one does all his business. So you're like, haha, I dodged this, and then you get hit by a fireball or whatever, and you're like, oh. So this fight is very much about awareness. You really, it's not as like phasey feeling as like these two are. You really got to be like high alert. These two also share their health, and I think the common strategy is to kill them at the same time, more or less. That's also kind of like an MMO thing. You know, when they get like those split bosses, and you gotta kill them at the same time. Um, and half the raid just kills one, and then it respawns, and then everyone groans. That doesn't happen in this game. I also don't really think, and JFK, correct me if I'm wrong, please. Um, I also don't think it matters, personally. I think you can go for one, and then he'll transfer his health over to the other. Uh, and then, yeah, you know, if you got one down to like 25%, I can't do math. I'm not even going to try. I know it's really easy numbers. But, like, what? They'll both be at like 75 or something like this. So they distribute the damage amongst themselves evenly. Um, so I don't really see why it matters taking them down at the same time versus just trying to annihilate one. Because when you try to annihilate one, yeah, you take out half the equation. I mean, you can't do it right away because the game just decides that once you do a percentage amount of damage to one and or the other, that they will go gray, immune, and then they will start sharing each other's health. And it's kind of like this channeled beam that they do between one another. Um, you when you start playing this a lot, like when you start doing this fight a lot, especially in the first like round, you know when it's about to happen, and if someone has died, and or you underestimated how much ammo you had, this is a terrific opportunity because I feel like you get a huge window of time, at least compared to these two in their gray modes, their immune phases. You get so much time to go get a resupply or to res somebody. It's not funny. Like it's so long. Um, and then they do it again, at least one or two, maybe even three other times. That I feel like it gets faster, or or maybe what happens is it gets harder to predict exactly when they're gonna do it. Um, but when they do it again, the same is true. This is another. These are opportunities to get resupply, reposition, or res a teammate. Um, and all of these guys do not like the gunner's shield. So that is always a strategy. You know, when S hits the fan, you know, get into that shield. So yeah, I think whether you mow them down at the same time or you try to pick one, I don't think it really makes a difference. Please, if someone wants to correct me on that, I have lots to learn as well. I see here that it says they take more damage from behind. I mean, if you can get behind them, that's always beneficial. It's always beneficial to get behind them. But this fight can be very chaotic, so I don't think it's as necessary to get behind them. And I also see here that it says ×1, so it's not as impactful as getting behind these guys. You know, in the Oppressors case, you really just have no choice. You got to get behind them. But I don't really think it's necessary, guys. I really don't. It's hard enough. But I guess if you can, try to get behind them. But yeah. All right. So man, that's a lot of rambling. I sincerely hope this helps. Glyphid exploders. These guys, so they're super wicked weak. A very scout perspective. If I see these off in the distance, and like my team is, you know, busy handling all this kind of typical swarmish stuff, I'll go for this. I'll break away, and you know, especially if they're far away. Like, these guys hurt. They hurt a lot. even on a 4, I don't think on a 4 they'll kill you in one explosion. I think on a 5 they will. And if they don't, oh man, they will bring you down to just about nothing. They do so much damage. You do not want to get blown up by these. I think on a 3, it's on a Has 3, they're pretty forgiving. But nah, seriously, even when you're playing Has 3, like don't do it. Don't get killed by these guys. Don't let them hit you. And it's good practice for when you start doing the higher difficulties too, to just never let them hit you. They make a very distinct sound. Again, I can't mimic with my talentless mouth, but it's like shh, I guess. Yeah, kind of like that. When you hear that, run away. Just start running. You can get out of it if you hear that sound, and yes, and you start booking it. At the very least, you'll take way less damage. But I very often can, you know, this common situation. You're getting more kite, you're getting nitra, whatever it is. You got your back turned. You're trying to like dig an acork out, and yeah, they come up behind you. Yeah, you can just run away. If you're playing something like Driller with the cryo cannon, yeah, you can just melt them immediately, and they won't explode as long as they died while frozen. So that's incredible. I guess the same is true if you want to do scout, and you can do your cryo grenade and kill them. Not necessary. There might be situations where it is. The drill dozer mission, right? It's like the drill is very weak, and those things are coming up to kill it, and yeah, that's a situation where you would want to use a cryo grenade to kill them. But what you ideally want to do is kill them from far away. And it can feel like a waste of ammo. So, depending on the situation, you can actually juke them. You can get right up in their face and basically bait them into doing it, and then you back off. So you didn't have to use any ammo, and they explode. And JFK is going to have to answer this. Can they hurt other bugs? I believe the answer is yes. But I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it does that much. If it does. So he'll answer that in the comments below. There's really nothing else I can say about these guys. Just kill them quickly. Like I've said, like this guy is a priority. This warden. There's a lot of priorities, man. Like you're always like prioritizing over grunts a lot of the times. Every situation is unique. Every situation is different, and like who exactly becomes number one, and is there a number one target in every situation, like guaranteed, regardless of what it is? Maybe. I don't know. I would say there's so many variables, right? There's just so many variables. If I'm really confident with my group, I feel like they can like handle stuff, and like I see a warden and like 2 Praetorians and a whole bunch of these guys coming at us, but I'm confident that I probably, like, I could contribute if I was playing scout, but they could handle it on their own, maybe slower or whatever. In that case, I might actually like if I see like a whole bunch of these like coming down the wall, I might actually just really quickly like and get them to explode off in the distance. That's me. I don't know if that's necessarily proper play, but yeah, you don't want that to happen. If you see one heading towards a teammate, say something, and or kill it at a distance that's not going to kill your friend. So yeah, you got to keep an eye open, and you want to keep your ears open as well. Crank that volume up. The volume is going to save you versus these. I don't play with music on, so it's a lot easier for me to hear. And if you're digging stuff out like Jadis or Enor pearls, anything like this, you even if it takes a little longer to dig out, you do not want to make, or like an egg, you don't want to make these like really narrow passages getting to the egg or whatever. You want to make them open, because often what happens is someone's digging for an egg, and like 2 or 3 of these crawl in, and yeah, they can't get away from it, and it kills somebody. So you just want to give yourself an out, because these things are nasty. All right, that's enough about that. All right, bulk detonators, and this is the gold one that I never know the name of. These guys are enormous. If they're not the biggest monster in the game, they're the biggest monster in the game. They're rather large, and I feel like they're more orangey than maybe what these pictures are showing, and they're, in my opinion, kind of glowy as well. Um, they have a very distinct sound that they make. Uh, I don't think I can do it, guys, but it almost sounds like a, I don't know. No, I'm just gonna get corrected. It has a sound that it makes that's unique to it, and if you're in a tunnel or something, and the tunnel is too small for a detonator to get into, it will just start boring out its own tunnels, and they are massive. They are massive tunnels, and you will hear like kabloom, kabloom. It's coming for you. Um, and what can happen is you're in a tunnel and you start hearing the sounds, um, and it can actually bore through the tunnel and kill you. So you got to be really careful. Like, you don't want to be like hugging the walls when you start hearing that sound. Um, a lot of new players get killed by this. Don't even get close to it. Don't get close to it. Don't try to be fancy with the pickaxe. Just don't. Uh, I'm not saying that you can't pull off like a pickaxe kill with this, but I don't recommend it, because even after you kill them, they will explode. That is kind of like what they're known for, is this massive explosion. Yeah, so just don't. Just general strategy. Don't melee these bugs. You think you understand how close you can get to them. You're wrong. I'm just being real with you. You're probably, I mean, maybe if you're very experienced, maybe you're not. But if you're new and you think you've gauged what his area of effect is, nope, you didn't. Trust me, you didn't do it. So whatever you think the safe distance is, just double it. Just don't go anywhere near him. All right, just stay away. Um, he's got like these bulbs. I think that's what the terminology is over here. These kind of yellowy, orangey balls. You want to try to prioritize hitting them first, because what will happen is when you do kill him and he explodes, they will fly in random directions, and then they will explode themselves. Basically, by not shooting them before he dies, he will get even more explodey. So, yeah, when I'm playing Engineer, especially on a 3, and even a 4, honestly, even a 4, these guys are a joke. With the breach cutter, it's silly. It's silly how I can be in a 4-player game and I can solo this thing no prob with the breach cutter. It's wow, it's incredible. The driller, if you mod it right, the cryo cannon can actually freeze this guy, and if you time it right before he dies, there will be no explosion. So that's something to think about. The gunner's shield, he doesn't like the gunner's shield, so missions like salvage, this is just an example, and you're doing the the part where like the swarms are coming in, the stuff you got to defend. This is a good time to actually throw the shield, to kind of block him or to make him turn around. Yeah, if you're doing something like a drill dozer mission, yeah, he's gonna mess up that drill. He's guaranteed to knock out one of those things, or one of its sides, or its core, if you're down to the last thing there. Yeah, when he explodes, he'll kill that for sure. So like on a drill mission, if you know that you're the one that he's fancy of, he's the one that he's going after you, run away from the drill. Lure him away if you can. I mean, I know there's like some situations where I guess that's not viable or whatever, but if you figure out even from a distance that it's you, yeah, lure him away. I've definitely lost some dozer missions because of detonators, and it's not even like sometimes you just get really unlucky on those driller missions, and not just one, not just two. I've had 3 spawn, and I'm like, what is going on here? This is crazy. So if you can, pull them away, and that really applies to a lot of other missions as well. If you can pull him away from the group, that's not like, preventing them from killing him, do so. Yeah. But when he starts getting low, get ready to start running. You may not need to be the person to get the last kill. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I was playing Driller and I didn't have the cryo cannon, I'm probably going to start booking it before anybody else. There are people with better ranged options that can finish him off. I'm just saying, like, if maybe your weapons aren't the best at range and you've contributed, you've done your piece, just start running away. Just start running away. Someone is going to get that last hit. When you're playing with randoms, people don't care if you're like within, like, you could, like, if you're playing with a group and you're like in a bad situation where you're looking in a tight room. Okay, you can actually hold off from killing him, right? Like, you don't, just because you engage him doesn't mean that, like, now it's like a clock is running down and you absolutely have to kill him. No. Because that explosion is so large, you might need to, pump the brakes and reposition to an area that is safe, and then deliver the killing blow. You know what I'm saying? So, some people are just like, kill him now! And it's just like, you're gonna, not only are we gonna lose the mission, you're gonna get teammates killed. So, be very mindful of that. And again, there's no pressure. So just breathe, relax, just think, and stay away from him. That's all I can say. This is basically just a gold version of him. And like, what is that? What's a gold version of him? When he dies, he explodes an enormous ball of gold, like a circle. It's not like solid. It's it's a hollow ball of gold. I can't give you really measurements. The idea here, ideally, if you can, is you want to lure him into a tunnel, because that will maximize it. When he explodes, in order for this ball to be created, he needs something to hit, or like for the gold ball to stick to. I don't know, if that's a way of saying it. So like, if you killed him out in the open, right? Like, you're on a football field, it's just plain, flat ground, and there's nothing, no wall, no ceiling, nothing nearby. You will only get like the bottom part of the circle, like whatever he blows up out of the ground. That's all the gold you will get. But if you kill him in a tunnel, you're gonna get the ceiling and the sides. So you will get more gold. Basically, it's very common that a driller, everyone syncs up with the driller because you don't know who he's gonna get attracted to or who he's gonna follow, and the driller will drill a tunnel. And then at the end of that tunnel, that's when you start shooting at him. So he comes into the tunnel, he blows up. Bam! Now you have a ton of gold, and I don't know. You get plus or minus, like somewhere between like 400 and 800 gold you can get from this, and the driller can use his C4 and/or his plasma charger to quickly gather up that gold. I know some people think gold is worthless. Whatever. It's a fun event, and if you're brand new to the game, it's really cool to do. It's cool to see. Yeah, and the gold is nice. It's a nice little chunk there. So, that's that. They're rare. I think they're rare. You don't see them very often. So I think it's... I always think it's like... I'm more or less at the point where I don't need gold. I mean, I think I technically need some. But I'm probably going to just... I'll get it as I play. Whatever else I need. So I still just... I do it for other people, and I do it because it's fun. So, yeah. Definitely try to lure him into a tunnel if possible. Man, this is going to be so long. I'm really sorry. So, web spitters, acid spitters, and menaces. These guys are typically on the ceiling or typically on walls. I'm not saying that they can't be on the ground, but yeah, they're usually up high. What's the priority here? I don't know. So the thing with the web spitter, and like these two guys right here, the acid spitter and the web spitter, they're both pretty darn weak. Um, to me, my opinion, this is very much this is for the scout to kill. Um, he's got, you know, despite what some might say about the GK2, especially depending on how you mod it, GK2 can go far, dude. I don't care. Like I'll record some video and show just how nasty the distance can be with that thing. So whether you're using the GK2 or the sniper rifle, or the new thing he gets, although I think the new thing is a lot harder to aim at or to kill at distance than the GK2 or the sniper rifle. But anyways, I think it's the scout's job to kill these things. I mean, he's so bad at killing swarms. He's so bad at like, yeah, it just doesn't really work out for him. So, you're the single target guy, right? And I think trying to wreck these is his job personally. But really, it's anybody's. You know, we're all on the same team when we're out there. And I don't know. Sometimes the guy whose job it is, quote unquote, to kill these is busy. I don't know. Because, like, another, quote, job for the scout is that he's supposed to be the guy that reses everybody. You could argue that the gunner is good for that. You could really argue anyone's good for it. But, stereotypically, it's considered the scout's job. And maybe the scout is off resing somebody, and now it's you and somebody else that's not a scout that are facing a swarm with all this malarkey. And you see these guys on the wall. I would actually prioritize doing these and this. Well, I don't know about this. Hold on, I'll talk about it in a second. I would prioritize doing these over even over doing this. Yeah, that's me. And why? So the web spitter can on the higher difficulties, the web that he shoots at you actually does significant damage. Like, I'm absolutely sure that it just obliterates your shield. And the worst thing, maybe, is that it, your vision, right? It just, I don't know. Can I do this? Let's see. Oh, look at me. You know, your vision just gets covered in a complete web, and you can't see what's going on. And that's no good. It's really bad. Yeah, you can kind of see through it, but it's disorienting for sure. So, while he may not be, like, you know, a detonator in terms of damage, that's very bad when you can't see. So, as a scout, I like killing these things so that my teammate, you know, I'm trying to help my team do what they do best, right? They kill the bugs, not me. So if I can kill the bugs that, like, stop them from killing the bugs, to me that's the priority. You know, I need to ensure that they can do their jobs. The acid spitter is just like, whew, that left alone, this thing can do some damage. It really can. It can hurt. So I like killing these things like ASAP, as soon as possible. I will probably kill the spitter before I kill, well, the acid spitter. I will kill the acid spitter before I kill the web spitter, but I consider them more or less equals. Okay, and then there's this guy. Man, these things I've watched teammates go down a lot because of these things. They need to get addressed. They have a significant health pool. They can shoot from really far away, I think. And what they do is they can burrow back into the wall. So you need to commit to actually hitting them. If you just, like, you know, pink, 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 no, they're gonna disappear. They're gonna go into the wall, and then they're gonna reemerge somewhere else that maybe you don't have the best view of, and then they're gonna rip up your team. So I will very often mark these out when I see them, because sometimes they're not in my range, or I just don't have, like, a good angle on them. And I don't necessarily think it's only the scout that needs to take this out. As scout, I do feel like this is my job to get rid of these things that are particularly bad. Would I prioritize it over these if all three were out? I don't think so. What I might do, actually, is I might shoot at this to force it to burrow, and then on that same clip, then kill these. Or I might just kill these first because they're so darn weak. I mean, like, they're silly weak. I know that these can potentially do a lot more hurt than these two, but because of, again, it's kind of like my MMO kind of background, like, or whatever. Like, you just kill, like, those highly damaging things that, you could blow on and they die. But yeah, this needs to go. If I saw a group with the warden, this, or I don't know, a bunch of these, and like all this like massive swarm, I might throw like a cryo grenade to kind of silence these for a second, and I might go for this. I don't know if that's necessarily the proper play, but man, I've watched these guys just rip up teammates. So like I'm always like really critical about trying to kill these things. They're bad, man. They're bad. Like you don't want to let them go. You really don't. Like, they're just disgusting. So yeah, try to mark these out too. Maybe you're I don't know. Maybe you're on engineer and you're using like the shotgun, and or the breach cutter. You really you're just not gonna reach them. Mark them out. Always mark them out. It's on PC the default's the control key, and yeah. All right. So this is so incredibly long. Let's see if I can like speed through this. Yeah, I think these are like on maps with like it's like one of those modifiers. These little things come out. I don't know if they really do any damage. Maybe they do. It's probably very weak. I don't really worry about these. This is what I always call the sand shark because I can never remember its name. These guys are harder to hit because they burrow in the ground. They will grab you. They will drag you all across the map. It's super jarring. I think heightened senses is great for killing these things because it's not just you that they're gonna, grab and then drag all around. They like to switch off and make everyone want to throw up, and give everyone a headache. But yeah, if you can, I don't really know where to put them in the priority list. If they're really close to you and you see them messing up your team, yeah, they gotta go. These things, I think, yeah. What is the difference? One's just like the stronger version. Okay, yeah, these are like the roly polies. And you can see their weaknesses here. What you need to do. That's interesting. I did not know. Basically, when they're like this, when they expose themselves, they basically just they're easy to kill. Like I'm always like just hoping or wanting them to do this because like now I know that they're done. But when they're in that ball, whew, they can be pretty hard to kill. And I think when you try to freeze these with cryo grenade or cryo cannon, I don't think they freeze when they're rolling. I'm pretty sure they just keep on moving. And I'm going to need JFK to answer this. If you completely freeze them, or at least fill up the gauge, and they're still rolling around, do they take more damage? I'm not sure. And again, like, where do you put them on the priority list? These things can do like some nasty stuff because they basically can like knock you up into the air or like bounce you around. And if you're like in a really small enclosure, oh man, it's like bump bump bump. It's like Pong or something. It's just like you just bouncing all over like bing 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 bing. I just can't remember the name of the game. Like no tilt. What is that called? The little whatever. Yeah, these guys can be pretty nasty. I wish I could give you like a really good strategy for killing them, but I don't really have any. At Scout, I'm very much like using the grapple. What you could do with the grapple too sometimes is like you can, in a way, if you have enough ceiling distance, you can kind of suspend yourself almost infinitely to keep yourself away from these guys. I think they have like a little bit of jump though too. This is another good one for hover boots. Like sometimes I will jump off of like a cliffish kind of thing. Nothing that's gonna like kill me if I would land, but I'll jump off of something so I can basically just distance myself from them. Use hover boots and knock these guys out. I will very often prioritize these over other bugs, especially when I'm playing scout, because I know they're gonna like bounce into my team. And I think they do some sort of like spray, so like he'll mount himself like this, and then he'll shoot like I think they're like green acid or something like this. So when you see him like this, that's like if you weren't gonna prioritize killing him when he was like in the ball, and I can kind of understand when he's rolling around, like he's armored up, and maybe you wouldn't want to, but definitely when he posts up like this, that's you got to get him now, and he's very weak when he's in this form. So do that. This is the thing on the side of Betsy, just like that picture shows. That's that robot. If you haven't seen it yet, there's like a chance in any map that you can come across this. He'll have two of these attached to him, and I don't think they're necessarily like one's east and one's west. I think one can be like north and one can be west, or you know what I'm saying. Like so they can be anywhere, but it'll be on one of his four sides, um, and you just need to get rid of those so that you can once you kill these two things, it frees them up so that you can repair them, and then he's on, or her, whatever it is. The robot is then on your side. I personally find Betsy annoying. I know people love Betsy. They always want to get it. I think you might get more EXP too if you do the event. So, but it annoys me on something like salvage. I really don't like getting these for salvage. Or really any map where you're trying to like defend like a certain like area, because it can physically push you, which is annoying, and it lays mines anywhere it wants, and they can hurt you. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I've been killed by Betsy, or at least I've been weakened by Betsy, and then I was killed. Um, so it could, it could be your friend, or it can be annoying. I think a really good strat for this, because the driller is just magnificent. Right before you start this, you'll just see it chilling, and you'll hear like a you'll hear a sound, like worm, worm. That's the best I can do. It's distinct, and once you start playing a lot, you'll know what you hear. You'll know it's a Betsy. This particularly stinks when you're doing like a drill dozer mission, and like you bore into a new room, and there's like those. It's gonna show it. There's like it's like one of these, and I don't know. Like in the event with like these things, like you just come into a room and then it's like chilling with all. I've had some like nightmare scenario. Oh, now I am lost. I don't know where I was. I don't think I was this low. I had some nightmare scenarios with Betsy. But yeah, starting this off with C4 is a great start, and if you time it right, you can do C4 followed by C4, and if you can, a third C4, and that I don't know what difficulty that doesn't kill them on, but yeah, you can just like C4 your way out of it. It's pretty nice. So that's enough about that. These are all the last three are related. This is like, I'll call it an event. This event can be challenging, especially on like 4s and 5s, especially on 5s. It can be really hard. So the deal with this is, you'll have like this center pod cocoon thing here, and this is what you really need to kill to end the event. But it's in this picture, he's open, but when you start it off, he'll be closed, kind of like a walnut. And in order for it to open, you got to kill his little snake buddies. This is what I call them. I call them the snakes. Again, this is terrible when this happens on a drill dozer mission, especially on I failed a lot of 4s actually. Like when we come into this room, not when I'm playing on engineer though. Oh boy, you just get that breach cutter out, and even if you don't want to do the event, which you probably shouldn't if the drill is moving, you just got to ignore it. The breach cutter just slices through this, just completely obliterates any challenge whatsoever. Just done. If you're driller and you're using the cryo cannon, just freeze some stuff. You don't really need to kill it, because like what will happen is, as soon as you kill them, like more spawn. And if you're on the dozer and it's moving, like you just need to like shut it down, and just move on. But yeah, if you are trying to engage, you're trying to do this event, you got to kill these things, and like what number you have to kill to then open this up. My man JFK he's got it. Go down in the comments. He's gonna tell you how many you need to kill. I don't know. I just kill them until it opens, and then it opens its juicy core, and you can start taking away its health. But after a certain point, it will close up. I don't know if it's time or if it's based on the amount of damage you do. I think it's based on the amount of damage you do, and or both. But I think it's mostly based on the amount of damage. Like you can't just like let's just say you had like 4 drillers, and all 4 of them did their C4 at the same time. Nope. He'll go immune, or he'll get grayed out or whatever, and you gotta keep killing more of these. At a certain point, I don't know, like midway through or whatever, these will spawn, and these heal, the main thing. So you gotta prioritize killing the healing pods. When I'm playing scout, yeah, when I'm playing scout, sometimes the pods will go in like they'll go up like real high. I actually have video of this. It's maybe I'll put it in the description, the link to it. It's one of my gameplay ones. You can grapple up high where like other people really can't get to quickly. So as scout, when I see these, I always prioritize this. To me, that's I was made to kill those things early. That's like my job. But if you don't have a scout, and or the scout's not doing it, everyone should be keeping an eye out for this thing. If you see him taking care of business, then you can continue killing these. But there's nothing wrong with helping him out. And or for the reasons I just said, this needs to go. This needs to go. And you might not always see it right away. It might be like behind something, or it might be like up high or whatever. It will have like this channeled pink beam connecting to this. So, there's not a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but there might be a healing pod. So definitely kill that. There's been situations where it's really hard to like do this, do that, do this, do that. And if I see that my team is like planted next to this plant, I might just keep killing these things so that we can just more quickly open it up again. So yeah, this can be a real like ammo eater, this event. And if you don't have everyone doing it on the higher difficulties, it ain't gonna happen. It's really difficult when you're trying to solo this thing in a game, in a full game, especially like Has 4 up. Maybe on Has 3, you can be a hero and do this all by yourself, especially if you're engineer and or driller. But whew. This could be really difficult, man. It can be. And it's also really easy to just not do. I don't know what the situation may be, but, I don't know, maybe you're out of resupplies, and, you're kind of struggling through. You could always just skip it. You don't have to do this. And, when you do finish it, you get, like, these green things. I don't know what they're called. I don't know what they do. But, yeah, he gets these, like 3 or so little green things, and you put him into JFK. Tell me what those are. He knows. So look in the comments below. All right, flying enemies. How much more do I have to go? This is gonna be way over an hour. These guys are super weak. They fly around. They could do some good damage though. If you freeze flying enemies, but with the cryo cannon from the driller, or if you use the cryo grenade from the scout, yeah, it'll kill them just by being frozen. So, like these guys, right? These guys are pretty meaty. I think it's better to freeze these if possible. Yeah. Will a cryo grenade one-shot this? JFK, say in the comments below if a cryo grenade will one-shot this. I'm not sure. I want to say no, but definitely this. I'm pretty sure that, and absolutely this. More than likely, I think this as well. But if you have the cryo cannon, yeah, hold it down until they're done. Absolutely, because yeah, that's nice. If I'm playing with a driller who seems to be on top of their game, I actually will just avoid shooting the flying bugs, assuming he's nearby, and we'll get them with the cryo. Like, why would you shoot at them if he's gonna let it rip with the freezy? The freezy. Yeah, you don't need to be shooting at these. Um, so yeah, this guy can do some damage, especially on has 5, but he's weak. Um, it says his abdomen takes the most damage, so not his face. That's interesting. I feel like he's such a small target to hit that you just end up kind of hitting him in the stomach no matter what you do. Um, this is a grabber. These can sneak up behind you. Um, if you're using heightened senses, you know it's coming because it'll the passive warns you. Um, a lot of times, especially when we're kind of mostly done the mission, I will let it grab me on purpose because I run heightened senses, and then I'll kill it. So not only does it save ammo, it prevents it from grabbing up my teammates. That can be really annoying. Um, this guy, the bomber, right? So I think there's like a frosty version of him as well, and when he dies, if you didn't specifically target those two like kind of greenish bulbs at the bottom there, call them sacks. If you didn't take out the sacks, when he dies, he'll spew, or these things will explode or whatever, green goo all over the ground, and the goo slows you down, so you don't want that to happen. So if you don't have a cryo cannon on hand, and or cryo grenades, you want to try shooting the bulbs. You absolutely want to shoot the bulbs first. When I'm playing on Scout, I actually don't cryo grenade this. I think that's why I can't really answer the question whether it takes one or not, because for me, in my setup, I like the sawed-off shotgun, and I can line it up where I can basically take out both sacks, I think in one shot, and definitely two. Definitely two. And it does like a huge chunk of damage to him when I'm playing on Scout. So I will very often, as Scout, target these things. I'm always looking for like the I often ignore these types of things. I ignore grunts when I'm playing Scout. I'm looking for the stuff that's really going to mess up the team, because the single target, some of the nasty things you can do on Scout is incredible, and I will absolutely shotgun its sacks. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. Tri-jaws are maybe the most feared thing for me on a Has 5. Even on Has 4. The damage they do is disgusting. It's really gross. They gotta go. And they gotta go immediately. Well, what about some of your other examples? Like, what if you had this, and you had this, and you had the tri-jaw? Well, you just got to do the matrix on those other two guys. That's my opinion, and go for this. Someone might say like, well, just like 2 bullets to the face will kill the other things, and then go for this. Nah, I don't care. Nope. I'm always gonna go for this. This is gonna wreck your team so fast, and I feel like these are harder to dodge. That's my opinion. I think it's harder to dodge than these two. These are dodgeable. Even this is, you can get out of the way. It's technically, obviously, you can get out of the way on this as well. Another technique, and I think I mentioned this before, you can watch my Has 5 engineer video that I have, I don't know, midway-ish through, or maybe closer to the end. One of these comes out, and I actually run towards its shot to avoid it. So you can definitely run towards it. But yeah, this needs to go. When I'm using the gunner, I use the revolver, and I think it's the 6-shooter mod. I can flatten this thing, like, nope, like, it's gone. I don't know, I just feel like, that's what I do when I'm playing on gunner. I'd switch to the revolver, and I take this out. Like, bam, bam. Yeah, I probably shouldn't be doing that. I probably should just be focusing on grunts and let somebody else take this out, but, not... Yeah, it depends on who you play with. I often, more often than not, I'm playing with, quote, greenbeards. People who are new to the game, who don't know all the priorities, who don't know all this. So like, some people who have been listening to me, if they've even been listening for this long, have been probably been like, no, you actually should kill this first. No, you should actually kill that first. Now, you should probably kill the thing that's going to hurt your team the most. The thing that's going to be the most devastating to the team is what needs to go. And yeah, I've watched this kill new players, so much to the point where like I always try to. I don't want them to die. Like I need them. I want them to have fun. I want them to keep playing this game. I want to show them like you can overcome anything, and blah blah blah. So they gotta go, and straight up, I don't know. I don't know what this guy does. I really don't. I don't know. I don't see them that much. Rarely do I see them. That's what it feels like. And I know it says that they have 600 health. Maybe because I play like Scout a lot. It doesn't feel like they have 600 health to me. It feels about on par with that. But if I see this, just because it's so like bizarre or like rare or whatever, it's gotta go. I just kill it. So I couldn't even tell you what it does. So, yeah, just straight up. But I'm pretty sure a cryo grenade wrecks that thing. All right. I don't want to talk anymore. The breeders. You know what a cryo grenade does take out in one throw? A breeder. So if you're a scout, I think you need that's your if you got the grenade, you got one handy. Yeah, because these things, right? That's got a lot of HP right there. But I'm telling you, JFK, back me up. One cryo grenade will take this out, and you don't got to worry about none of this spawn that it does. One grenade. I've had people actually like type out after I've thrown it at them, and like none of the it was at such a like I grappled in front of everyone because I will beeline for this thing because people will just start throwing a hail of bullets at it. I beeline towards it. I grapple right towards it, and I throw the grenade. And I've had people type out like, "Whoa, yeah." But this is another one of those priorities. You don't see it a lot, and honestly, like people will say like, "It's gotta go, it's gotta go, it's gotta go." It's not the most devastating thing ever. Like it's not good when you let them live and they spawn all these annoying little things. Like it'll spawn these, which spawns these or something. I feel like there's a lot of other things I could compare this to in other video games. But, yeah, this is like the mama. And then it, like, lays these eggs. And then out of the eggs comes the little nasties. So, yeah. Yeah, kill them. Mark them out for other people so that y'all can engage it if you don't have the frost technology. I really don't think they're that threatening, but people seem to be high alert when it comes to these. Alright. Now, someone commented that I was too tired to remember what this is called. No, I'm really just too dumb to remember. That's just the truth. I just never remember. I just call them ceiling grabbers. But yeah, I guess they're called cave leeches. And I think he even put in the comment the name of it, and then I come in right after him, and I still didn't catch the name. That's just, like, I don't know. I have, like, a mental block when it comes to these. But these, I've lost... Well, I lost at least one game, and it was the last game I ever lost to them. Because ever since I lost a game, I've always had a heightened senses active perk. It's beautiful. If you have heightened senses and you get grabbed by this and you use the ability, even if you're all the way up at the ceiling, it will actually extend back down. Drop it. It's weird. Like, even though you're about to kill it, it's just like, well, let me just nicely put you back down. So no fear if you're like all the way up and you get grabbed by this. Just use the ability. And yeah, sometimes I will purposely let them grab me so that I can use the ability. And I've had some people be like, yo, you need to avoid that. And I'm like, okay, yes. Yes, sir, that's true. But I had this ability that you may not have known that I had, and I conserved some ammo, and I just guaranteed that no one else is going to get grabbed by it. So, every situation, right? So, if you don't have heightened senses, though, the strategy, really, and this is what you're supposed to be doing, every time you come into a new room,
you should be scanning the ceiling. You should be looking at the ceiling, trying to find these things. Because in theory, you don't need heightened senses if you're just very proactive. So keep an eye out for this. I've probably talked way too much about all the other bugs and things, and I should probably harp more on this because of how important it is to spot these on the ceiling. Because if it grabs you and no one's around to save you, you are dead. Straight up, you're dead. You're not getting out of it. It's going to kill you. And it's going to be long. It's a very frustrating death. So they look like brains kind of on the ceiling. I feel like it's a little lighter colored than this. Maybe my colors are a little different, but I feel like it's a little more like tannish or off-white. Honeycombs. I typically just leave them alone. Yeah, I typically just leave them alone. I don't know why it's necessary that if you just don't go near it, it won't hurt you. So I often just leave them alone. I don't think it's worth the ammo trying to kill them. But I don't know. Maybe there's a situation where they need to get cleared. There's nothing I can tell you. So I guess if you're using the flamethrower or whatever, like that's you're gonna fry that up. But I don't think they're very strong. This is not really a threat. It's there, and you can just leave it alone if you want. Spitball infectors. I've seen this kill teammates, especially in drill dozer missions when we like bore through into the next room and they're just not looking, like they're still like killing the swarm that's following behind us or whatever. And yeah, like on the higher difficulties, these can absolutely do some damage. Since it's bulbs, take more damage. I don't know where the other one is based on this picture, but I'm always going for like that one kind of right where my mouse is. Oh no, I'm gonna keep it right there. That yellow circle, like dead center of it. I'm always trying to aim for that. What's interesting about these is it's like it shoots I don't know, like this green ball or yellow ball at you. You can actually shoot the ball so that it doesn't hit you. Yeah, so just try to do that. Like, yeah, try to shoot that ball if you can. Because trying to avoid the hit, I think, is harder than just shooting the ball. Because the ball, I think, also has a little bit of splash damage. So if you think you're gonna like hide behind that pillar and you're like hugging the pillar, the damage is still gonna get you. So you want to try to kill that ball, and you could just like on the higher difficulties, you're probably not gonna like annihilate it like how you would on a 3. So you can just shoot, and then be ready to then hit the ball, and then shoot. If it even goes that far. I know like it says 800 health, but I've never felt like these things are particularly hardy. Like they go down pretty quick. But yeah, left alone, they can do lots of damage. And they're kind of like dormant at range, like at far distances. So if you like spot it out, you can kind of like, hey team, like we got one of these over here, and you can have a buddy or two come with you so that you can just like quickly get rid of it. This thing, I don't know. I'm not threatened by this at all. It spawns. Is it this? Maybe it's. I think it spawns these, and or these. I don't know. I think it's this one. JFK, you gonna get me on this one? Tell them down below. I think it's this. I think it spawns these. Yeah, I don't know. They're just not really high on a priority list, but yeah, you'll see them, and I guess you want to get rid of them. You just shoot the yellow balls, and when you shot all them, if that didn't kill it, then you just go for the body. This is only on those missions where it's like wood or whatever, and like all the thorns. So it's like that. The maps where it's like all the colors are just brown and red. All those red thorn things. Those levels, you see these. On a has 4, and definitely on a has 5. This can mess you up. Depending on the map, you can avoid them altogether. It's not even worth shooting at because you won't go near it at all. So like, don't waste your ammo for something that you're just never gonna go near. But if you even have like, if there's even like a possibility that you might come by this thing, and if you're definitely gonna come by this thing, just shoot at the yellow part. Yeah, shoot at the yellow part, and this big blade will come off. I can't tell you what the range is, but it's significant. It can lunge at you from pretty far away. In a way, it's avoidable. Like, I think if you're running and it lunges at you, I think it will miss. Uh, so as long as and like most people kind of Call of Duty when they're shooting, I do it as well sometimes. It's this kind of habit where you kind of hit like A and D on the keyboard, or I don't know, the control stick if you're doing controller, where you're kind of like zigzagging back and forth. Just pick a direction, like just strafe left or strafe right, and you won't get hit. And aim for the yellow, no big deal. Um, yeah, this is kind of the same as a honeycomb. I'm not really concerned about these, and I don't really worry about these. And I've never been in a situation where these have killed me, or I've even thought twice about them. And I guess if you want to take it out and you have the extra ammo and it's in a bad spot or whatever, you can go for it. But these are non-issues in my opinion. Oh my lord, I've talked so much. I've rambled so long. If you're still listening, congratulations, congratulations. Give me like a PO box. I can send you an award for listening this long. You should get like a Nobel Peace Prize if you listen to all this rambling. If you want to put in the comments like, man, you talk too much. Yeah, it's not really constructive, but sure, whatever you got to do to vent your rage. You could always just hit the X, but complain if you need to. Um, this is new with the seasons, all these things, and I can't talk a whole lot about these. Just kidding, I can talk so much. Um, so I don't have like a ton of experience killing these things, but I'll try to do my best here. They can, well, not all of this can spawn randomly in maps, but like the caretaker is specific to the sabotage mission. This is basically like the boss of the sabotage mission. Um, it's got a lot of phases. Basically, like these corners. It's got another corner you can't see, but its four corners will open up, and it's not actually the thing that comes out. It's what's underneath that you got to aim at. Um, and then eventually, this will become exposed, a circular area, and I think it's one or two sides will be open. I don't think it's always two, but at least one. And it'll be red. You'll see like this red light coming out. So when that happens, you want to shoot the red light, and you can kind of see it in this like picture here that's popping up. Kind of looks like a snake. I don't know if it's required that you kill these snake things. I just do it because they hurt and they'll hurt your teammates. So I absolutely take them out. I don't know if there's like some cool strategy where you leave them alone, but this diamond caretaker thing will be kind of like on a platform, and like on the corners of the platform, that's where the snakes pop up. You can't miss them. They're very avoidable. But if you're not paying attention, yeah, they'll mess you up. The patrol bots spawn during that boss fight, and they also spawn during other things like this prospector. The prospector, I think he's in the sabotage missions. Maybe not. I don't know. But he's definitely a random event that you can see on other maps. And you don't have to engage him like right away. You can kind of point him out so your teammates can come, and then you can start it off. But he'll be he flies around, and he can really go the distance. He can really travel. Like he won't just like stick around in the one room that you're in. He'll actually fly to another room. But you can shoot him, and then he'll go gray, so he's immune, so you stop shooting. And if he didn't do it during that, he'll do it at some point. He'll spawn these patrol bots, and some of them fly, some of them like and/or they stay on the ground. Shoot for the face. That's the key thing. Shoot for the face. It's really easy to shoot like that bottom ball or whatever. Nope. Go for the face. That red glowy bit, go for that. They're actually really weak. They don't feel weak when you're not shooting them in the head, but they are really weak when you shoot them in the face. Get them in the head. Get them up there. Yeah, just got to do that. I just want to emphasize how important that is. And I don't know if it's maybe JFK will comment on this in the comment section. I don't know if it's random. I don't know if it's how you kill them or like what the dealio is, but I'm gonna say there's a chance that after you kill them, they will actually remain, and you can what's the word? Commandeer? I don't know. You can basically kind of like Betsy. You can activate them so that they fight for you, and you go through like this kind of clicky response thing. Like I don't know. It's like a 2 or 3 parter, but like you go up to it and you'll see like you basically got to put the dog in the doghouse. It's kind of like a compass thing, but you got to line up, like the arrow of the compass in the other arrow to orient. So in this, you just get like a dot will move or whatever, and you just got to hit it at the right. So it's a timing kind of issue. You're probably like, what the heck is he talking about? You'll see it. You'll see when it's like a little mini game almost, but you just got to get the ball in the square, or you got to like line up the things that intersect or whatever, and you do it like 3 times, and then it fights for you. These are annoying, and they do some like pretty decent damage. You can actually use your pickaxe to kill them. I'm pretty sure it's just one regular pickaxe hit, and they die. What's really deceiving about these is that like they don't die like right away, even after you've knocked out their health. So then what you end up doing is you end up just spraying their what would be their corpse. I hate these. I really do not like these. They bug me to death. Uh, it just feels like even when you're hitting them, you're not hitting them, even though you actually did hit them, and they're just like slowly dying. Uh, so they're actually incredibly weak, and it just takes some practice. But after a while, they're a non-issue. But yeah, when you first start, like learning this was particularly annoying. I kind of talked about the caretaker already. There's a point in the caretaker phase where he puts these burst turrets. They kind of like first they come out just to mock you, then they fly up, and then they attach more or less to the ceiling. So they're very up high, and yeah, they do good damage. So they gotta go. So hit them in the glowy bits if possible. I mean, they're so far away typically that you're just trying to get it in their vicinity. So like it says, like it takes more damage if you hit them in the glowy parts. This is probably where like a scout sniper rifle would really shine. Yeah, just do your best. Try to get rid of them. I don't know if it's the. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting these 2 mixed up, or 3 mixed up. I didn't even know there was 3 different turrets. Honestly, I'm aware of the one that shoots like the beam at you, and I hate that one's nasty. That one can hurt. So yeah, just try to take these out. I don't really have any specific advice. You just hit the glowy bits, and like they're pretty weak, right? I mean, like the health isn't really all that insane. And yeah, I kind of already talked about the prospector a little bit. He's just like a random event. He'll spawn those things. He'll go gray, then his health comes back, and he flies pretty fast and all over the place. And I believe when he dies, he drops like a couple of Enor pearls. So that's kind of neat. Passive creatures. How much more? Oh god, almost done. Almost done, guys. Loot bug. Yeah, they got nitra in them, and they got gold. And if enough time goes on, they will pick up additional gold and nitra that falls on the map. There is a cap as to how much they can hold. I don't know what that number is, but I suggest killing these as soon as possible. I do the pickaxe attack. I don't think it's worth the ammo, but sometimes it is. Yeah, so, get some nitra. That's basically what you get out of them. Golden loot bugs, I think it's like a community cultural thing. You pet them, and I think you also are not supposed to kill them. But for people who don't care about that stuff, yeah, you kill them and they explode lots of gold. The hoarder, he is uncommon to rare. He can randomly spawn on maps. Do not. Oh, it says 15% chance. I don't know. Lately, I feel like it's been higher than that. Like if you play with my friend Artie, just play with him. This actually, he has some sort of inherent passive ability that no other player has, where he increases the chance to see him by 50%. Not even kidding. Maybe he'll comment in there that is absolutely true. If you're playing with Artie, yeah, that this will spawn more. But before you engage this by yourself, tell the team that you see this and or mark it out, because he will also disappear. Like, he can burrow back into the wall and then he's gone for forever. And the reason why you don't want that to happen is he can he gives like rare resources, and he can give a lot of them too. So this is kind of like a treasure goblin in Diablo 3. They're fun. They do no damage. They run really quickly and they make a silly sound. But yeah, you definitely do not want to engage this alone, just to guarantee that you kill him, and he won't run away before he's engaged. So like, you have time to collect. Uh, these are nothing. They just get in the way. I don't even know what the advantage is to killing them, if any. So I just leave them alone. More or less same situation. I just leave them alone. This will actually like extend like a little arm, and he'll touch you. But it doesn't hurt, and you know, he's your friend. So you just leave him alone. Silicate Harvester. You can actually ride these, and there's an achievement that's been eluding me for a very long time, and I may never get it, but you need 4 people to get on top of this thing, and each of you needs to get 5 kills. Not only do I think this achievement is bugged, because I've tried multiple times, it's just darn near impossible because of trying to get people to do this. No, it's so hard. You explain it to them, and they're like, achievements? That's dumb. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah, I feel you. And or you get on top of it, and then like no bugs spawn. It's actually magic how that happens. If you're doing a has 5 or a 4, and you're getting overwhelmed by swarms, and like, you just don't know what to do, get 4 people to get on top of it, and I don't know what the programming is, but then they all just go home. It's really, but you have to say that you're trying to do the achievement though, because if you just get on top of it, the swarms will keep coming. But if you're actively trying to do this achievement, no bugs will spawn. Yeah, this is how it works. But they're neutral, and they're actually high enough up. Assuming that they don't hit like some funky angle, you can actually not get hit by grunts. So that's pretty sweet. These guys, only those Azerweld missions. That's the only time you see them. If you jump underneath them, and I don't know what button it is, E I think on the keyboard, you can actually fly with these, and it's like reverse controls. So it's like down goes up and up goes down, I believe. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. It's actually a really fun bug, and you can you can get around obstacles with these things, or just I don't know, a swarm's getting a little too crazy, and you can hitch a ride on these. I don't think these do anything. You can just ignore them. Fester fleas. It's like the secondary objectives on maps. You typically need to kill 10. I know as scout, it's really easy to just get, like, I grapple to them and I do 1 shotgun blast. I would say don't go crazy like wasting your ammo trying to kill these at range, unless you have a really good gun that's for range and you're confident with your aim, because you can waste a silly amount of ammo trying to kill these. Sometimes they will let you get close and you can kill them. And it's also good to mark them if possible, because what can happen is you start shooting at it, it gets scared, and then it flies into another room, and now you can't find it. So, yeah. Oh my lord. If any of you made it this far, congratulations. Your trophy's coming. I know some people are going to say this is too long, it's too much rambling, this is crazy. Sorry. I'll put a couple of the links in the description, and I hope that helped. I know people were asking for an enemy guide. They probably would have preferred that I broke it down or I put timestamps in, but no, I really adhere to the I do this in one take, and I'm not trying to get like massive amounts of subs and all that stuff. I'm just trying to help some folks that think that this is either entertaining or useful. And I really appreciate those people who do stick around, and I really appreciate all the positivity that I've been getting. And as you can see, it's like 1:30 in the morning, so this is I gotta get to bed here. But I really appreciate the people that have been interacting in the comments and on the side as well. I mean, it's just been so fun to talk about this game that I really love, and I'm learning things from you guys too. Like it's fantastic. So anyways, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, look look out for the next video.